I think our teams are itching to crack some packs.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kick it over to them. You guys ready?
We introduced our featured drafter.
Oh, we are following Logan of the Mana Cryps is
Yeah.
the team name. Yeah.
No, everyone's gonna open.
Everyone's gonna open it. We were just gonna let you know. We're letting you know who we're following.
Yeah.
All right.
Very
With
nice.
that, good luck, drafters. Kick it off.
Let's go. Excellent. Opening up our packs here, checking our levels and making sure we're going. Hoping to open some fun rares here.
I see a Verge, which is
Looks like a
not the most
land
fun
rare.
rare. Yeah.
Not the best. Honestly, not a super strong pack. I do like that beatdown. I like Fear of Abduction. Some really good cards there. Looks like he's pulled the Fear to the front, but he's thinking about that red. Now, is that
I think that was
Works or
no. I think that was Painter Studio Defaced Gallery.
Painter Studio is a great first.
It's
pick.
very good. Yeah.
It's a very solid first pick.
In an otherwise pretty weak-looking pack.
Exactly.
So kind of lucky to even have that one.
I like Painter Studio, especially in team formats. It just gives you a good amount of value. It's good sacrifice fodder if you end up in that deck. It's good aggression fodder if you end up in that deck. There's a lot you can do with it.
And if you are, a proactive red deck, getting +1 attack power
Exactly. That's
on
what I'm
all of your
saying.
creatures, that's just for 2 mana is pretty
Pretty nice.
pretty insane rate.
Yeah. Combos well with a lot of the red commons. One of them being displayed here, the Violent Urge. Like, that's definitely going to be probably the
That Scorching Dragonfire has got to be the pick for sure.
putting Logan pretty confidently into like a good red base here. It's one of my favorite colors to draft in this format. So.
Logan is, he is known to be somewhat of a volatile drafter
Yeah.
though. But yeah, the Marina Vendrell in there was still probably not going to be.
It's possible he ends up in that deck still. That Marinas, they have a tendency to wheel, I would say.
Yes, there's a good chance that he'll get another crack at it if he really wants to.
If he's really hunting for that runes deck. Red's not a bad base for the runes deck, so he already picked up one rune.
But yeah, we don't have to be any sort of rooms deck. We can just be a red deck with rooms. We've just got 2 great red cards.
Oh yeah, I
to
was just
start us
saying,
off.
if he was looking for Marina, and that could not be a bigger sign there. The Disturbing Mirth, I think, is almost certainly going to be an easy pickup here. One of the best cards in the format, puts you in a great archetype, goes well with the other cards that he's already picked. Slayer pulled to the front as well.
The Glomalite is also just a great 2 mana play for almost every deck in the format. So it's a pretty nice early pick. But
I would put the Glimmerlight in contention here as well. I think it's the Disturbing Mirth for me, but just because I already have 2 cards of a matching color with it, and it is quite powerful, and it's a good, sort of open signal. Ooh, interesting.
Actually,
pick
going for the
here.
Altenac instead.
Going for the Altenac. Altenac's an interesting pickup. I think it's stronger in team blue, so I don't hate this pickup. I would have gone for the Mirth, but I also Raptors is probably my favorite color pair in this format.
It could just be a personal preference.
Yeah, exactly.
Red green Gruul Beats is certainly a very powerful card. And Altenac can be very tough to deal with, and getting the green land cycler there is pretty nice.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and notably getting passing the Mirth and then also picking up the early Altenac as like a pretty solid choice gives you the opportunity to pick those Say Its names a little bit higher, see if you can live that dream, right?
So much. So I never even got to live that dream in an 8-person pod.
No, me neither. It's very difficult.
Even more difficult in this 6-person team draft pod.
I've seen a couple of people get close, but never quite there. I think part of the problem is that Say Its Name it's just a good card. So even if there are 3 in the pack, it's pretty likely to get scooped up by anyone who's drafting green. It feeds your graveyard, which is extremely relevant in this format.
That's why I think that the Say Its Names, it's more important to pick up 1 or 2 Say Its Names before the Altenac.
Exactly.
And those can kind of make their way around the table somewhat.
Yeah.
But the just big green chonkers is certainly something that not every deck is going to be able to deal with pretty effectively.
Exactly.
So it's definitely not a bad team draft strategy by any means.
That Altenac is nice, you know, it has trouble staying dead. It gives you value even if they do use removal on it, right? Because it has that lovely ability, not quite a ward ability, but similar to like a ward draw card, which is nice. Interesting, pulling the rats to the front after having passed the Mirth. I would have assumed this is an easy MVS here, or even that
maybe Manifest Dread.
Manifest is also an extremely good pick with his current build.
I think once you have a couple of those green chonkers, then cards that Manifest Dread certainly become more attractive. We also saw there was another MVS earlier in a previous pick, so it might not be as important to pick that up now, but it is still like just an excellent red proactive card.
I would say on its base level, right? It feels like the Manifest Dread is maybe a stronger card than the MVS given his pool, but I think that his red is better than his green right now. So
for sure.
I don't hate either of those picks. So, you know, locking down red, not really passing any good red, might be a good way to cut off anyone who took that Disturbing Mirth.
This is a pretty easy Glimmerlight pick for me.
Yeah, I would easily take this Glimmerlight. Nothing
a lot
really...
of like kind of clunky 4 and 5 drops. There's that Selesnya Uncommon that doesn't really have much of a home in the format.
Yeah, you know, notably, I do really like the Let's Play. Oh, interesting. He takes the Fear of Abduction in an off color.
Fear of Immobility.
Fear of Immobility, sorry. In an off color for him, I would have taken the Glimmerlight, I think, for sure. Glimmerlight is just a very solid playable, and it's looking like
is this our first wheel? No, I think we still got one more pack to go.
One more pack. I don't recognize any of these.
But once again, all I'm seeing here are just sort of like clunky 4 and 5 drops that people don't really, that you're hoping not to prioritize picking up.
It's so interesting. That Glimmerlight is such a good card. You know, this format not being on Arena, people could not practice this before the finals as much, right? A standard strategy for a lot of these teams is to, you know, go through a couple of drafts in the day before and just like refresh your mind on what's going on. But obviously, they'd have to organize something in paper, which is always a little bit harder. So,
all right, pulling up this rampaging. No, okay, sticking that back. I think I personally might like just picking up the Is It dual land here.
Yeah, I would pick the dual land here.
Just to keep your options sort
keeps
of more
your
flexible.
options open.
And there's that
those
Marina.
cards, so this is the wheel here. No,
that was the wheel.
Was the wheel.
Yeah, this is the second pack.
Yeah, I'd take that Marina. Here, I think it's got to be that Violent Urge, though I don't hate the Teddy in his current deck. He just kind of wants a little bit more low-to-the-ground things, keep him alive until those green chunkers can really mess him up, as they say.
See, I kind of like the Lakeside Shack here.
Interesting, yeah.
Or maybe even the Twist Reality, because blue seems to be...
Blue does seem
to be open, even though it's not... Even though, like, the power cards aren't necessarily there.
Yeah.
But, like, you can easily get this Clammy Prowler, like, last pick or something.
I would say Logan maybe is a little bit regretting not being in...
He's just going to take it now, though.
Rakdos here.
Wow.
Glimmerlight.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so red is... certainly very open.
Certainly open. If that
was the only
the Violent Urge and the MBS both wheel.
The MBS being
the only red card in that pack. Yeah.
So that's
I know they took
signal.
some blue cards and a white card on speculation, but I might just at this point stick strong to our early picks. You know that the power is there.
I honestly think the Glimmerlight.
Glimmerlight
I really like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no reason to sort of deviate here.
Just for curve purposes.
For curve purposes, I guess. I wouldn't take the MBS. I was sort of implying that Manifest Dread that was still in that pack. Now, this is a pack that is filled with blue, so it does look like that Rooms deck is probably the most open in this pod. Blue-red otters, as they...
Or the colors, specifically. It's just going to be... Is it always just going to be the otters color?
That's right.
That's right. So I think Logan is certainly picking up on that signal.
He's definitely seeming to pick
colors.
up on a signal for sure. Now it's interesting that he took that Soul Rager. It's not the best red card, and
I think it's totally fine if you end up in a blue-red deck with a decent amount of room. So.
I don't love it. You did get that.
I mean, I don't love it.
Last pick alternate art rare there as in the marina. So,
that is probably not going to get played. Of
almost
course.
certainly not going to get played in this.
Yeah, marina. Maybe fun to try and build around every now and then, but is not even really at the power level to justify putting 5 colors
That's the
in your
thing
deck.
is, she doesn't quite do enough in the payoff. Like, even if you do sacrifice your mana base, she doesn't really do anything. From here, where would you? What I think Logan has a pretty good red base, but that his secondary color could go anywhere right now.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
sort of open in a bunch of different directions. So I like where he's positioned. And then he opens up time.
That is one of the best rares.
That is going to pretty heavily incentivize him to attempt to play green here. There's no way that he can pass that Tyvar.
He does still have a couple of green cards in the pack. Still could go that way.
Heavy green cards. Opening that Tyvar is pretty significant, I would say.
Had an opportunity to grab a Lakeside Shack previously. That might look more tempting now. I would say. Though maybe we're just back on trying to force our way into Gruul beats at this point.
One of the best, I'd say, pieces of advice is, if the pack looks weak and there's a dual land, just take the dual land. Even if it's not in your colors, you don't know where you're going to open in the next pack, especially if it's pack 1. But just in general, it's just good to have those options open to you, right?
This is a pretty stinky one.
I would take the Cartographer here pretty easily, I think. I think it might be the best card in the pack. I do like the Harrower, but black is the only color that he's not in, so I wouldn't risk it.
And the number of times I've seen the Harrower actually flash back is pretty rare. It's most of the time just a 3-mana 4/1.
Oh no, I mean the 4-mana 2/2.
Oh, that's the 2/2 that discards.
Discard draw card.
That's totally fine.
I like that card a lot.
That's totally fine, for sure. But yeah, I kind of like the Cartographer here, especially after picking up a double green card.
Yeah, and Tyvar's good with the survivors. He's good with little creatures to keep himself alive, but also to ramp your mana. So I would say, he did take the Bedhead Beastie, which I don't love, but I don't hate either.
There's a ticket booth there if you want another red room. It's Glimmerburst if you want to go red-blue still.
So I would say he's probably thinking about going for that Gruul again. That Insidious Fungus is looking very tempting. Ticket Booth also good. I don't hate the long neck. Honestly, for his deck right now, I kind of like the Machete pickup. Just because he doesn't necessarily have a clear direction, so he's looking for a little bit more of signals. He wants to be in green, but
I think he's choosing green as his direction for now anyway.
For sure.
And Fungus is a very good card for sure. Just so flexible.
It's so flexible. It's the kind of card that is can stop some decks dead. Just like basically hard counter them. And then in match 2 or match 3, if it doesn't seem like it's relevant against you in your pair, you can just sideboard it out. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and we can see he's got his Gruul cards sort of lined up by curve here.
Yeah.
That's definitely where his head is at the moment. And the Soul Rager tucked into the back there.
helps to open that time. One of the best mythics, I would say, in this set.
Yep.
Very difficult to deal with. Very easily just cleans up.
There are some color pairs that just cannot win once it is played. So.
Ooh, this is a very strong pack for Logan here. 2 really strong removal spells, the Monkey, and then also just some other very playable green and red cards. So
what was the other removal spell besides the Glassworks?
The Glassworks and the Monstrous Emergence.
Okay.
Which is good with his beaters, right? You can just reveal something in his hand.
Yeah, he's got enough chunky cards to turn it into a green Duke Blade.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Glassworks is still a really nice
grab. Honestly, I love that Glassworks. It's a high pickup for me. People are a little bit down on removal in this format, something that just removes, but I think the Glassworks gets there, and that little bit of extra, it's a permanent on the board, it helps you with maybe a sacrifice trigger at some point, it can be paying in the late game if you're an aggressive deck, just gets you that extra few points of damage. Really high on the Glassworks. So I'm liking Logan's deck right now. It seems like very, very strong. It's reading signals very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it seems like red is kind of flowing in both directions, so there's a good chance that he's really going to get paid off in that color in back 3.
Especially.
And in the meantime, we're just going to try and jam as many good green cards as we can to go with our mythic. So
Yeah, I think so.
things are going pretty well, I think.
I like that long neck. There's no cards that I think that are a huge problem for him in this. What is that alternate art? I didn't get it. The one behind that goes like
I think there was an unwanted remake.
Is it
maybe?
unwanted remake? Yeah. It's not the best rule, and not for Logan.
Yeah, not something that we're super excited about, even if we're in white.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Definitely
looks like
liking Logan's build here. Fanatic strength, not bad.
Seems like
Pyroclasm pretty good.
it seems like a late glimmer burst. Is it too late to even consider?
Consider the blue splash here. It's a very late glimmer burst. His pack's looking a little bit weak. He doesn't have a lot of fixing. You know, if he had that cartographer, if he had that dual land from the past, I might consider that glimmer burst. But apart from just taking it as like a hate pick, I wouldn't consider it here.
Yeah, which is probably not worth it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just the Razor Trap Gorge.
I would take probably the land there. He's got enough top end. He's got enough heavy things and value.
Ooh, the Wildfire Wicker Folk.
The Wicker Folk wheels. Logan's got to be happy to see that.
Oh yeah. So that's just the ultimate signal right there,
It's the
right?
perfect
Like,
signal.
no,
He just,
no one else is doing
he's
this.
in this lane,
So,
he's just going to go for it, right? Because that's the kind of card that Logan probably, Tyrell was in that pack, obviously, but like, he was considering, that would be, if Tyrell hadn't been there, a card that he would have strongly considered as his pick. And the fact that it made the wheel, I think, is great for him.
So literally nothing here for us. Is there even like a hate pick to be had here?
Is there a chandelier in this pack?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I saw. Oh no, it's that white card that glare here. I don't know. I would probably can. I think that's fine, just as a card to.
They can certainly close out a game randomly. So, yeah. And the ticket booth on the wheel.
Ticket booth on the wheel? I like that.
Yeah, snaps it off pretty quick.
Yeah. I would have maybe considered the long neck, but he already has one. It's not, long neck's not amazing, and ticket booth can absolutely get wins out of nowhere.
I think I play the first long neck in
Pretty
my
happy
girl
with-
decks.
yeah,
I'm pretty okay with that in general. Just because of the enchantment subtype.
And that Boiler Bilges is one of my least favorite red cards.
Yeah, it's like you kind of read it and it seems fine most of the time. It's like, it's a 4/4 that kills something, but it really doesn't work out that way.
It doesn't work
most of
out
the
that
time.
way as often as you'd think.
And there's
Is
a
that a
couple
ley line?
there's a white and a blue, or was the blue ley line in the previous pack.
Oof, the blue line was in the previous pack. Ley line's definitely a format-defining rare cycle.
In sort of the opposite way.
Yeah, sort of the opposite.
Where nobody.
It's just five completely dead rares that are just
Third to
absolutely
last
terrible.
pick, Glimmer Burst.
Yeah, that's wild. Glimmer Burst is exceptionally strong. I think you take the
And the
advantage.
Vanish from side. So blue is
Blue
also
seems to be very
incredibly open.
Glimmer Burst being, I think, one of the best commons in the set. It's definitely a card that I feel okay. If it's a weaker pack, I feel okay first picking it.
See, I don't even mind the Pyroclasm either, though. There, he's kind of he's at the moment anyway, kind of set up to where it's not hurting him too much, so he can kind of maybe build towards playing a slower early game, and then playing a bunch of beefy creatures in the late game.
And not irrelevant, since we made the swap for the double blockers, Pyroclasm has gotten better as a card, just slightly, because of the way that you can decide how you want to line up the damage. You can sort of swing with the big thing, and then they plan a bunch of blocks to lose the least, and then you sort of blow them.
There's another ley line.
Another ley line.
You hate to see it.
Sunlight Skin Ripper, definitely a card that I like.
But this is a pretty
Interesting.
easy
It's
Razor
pretty
Kitten.
easy Razorkin. That Razorkin is very powerful, very hard to deal with. Just makes an untapped blocker, just like coming on in.
There's also nowhere to run in this pack, which is premium removal. There's a good chance that Impossible Inferno will wheel.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the deck.
Yeah, I like Inferno in this format a lot, actually. It's good value. The Inferno, that's the one that lets you cycle? Yeah.
No, it deals 6 and exile the top when you have Delirium.
Yeah, you have Delirium. Ooh, interesting.
Oh my gosh, get past him. Enduring Curiosity.
Interesting. So the Curiosity is exceptionally strong, obviously.
Wow.
Blue seems to be just like wide open from both directions. I don't know what people are doing. That Curiosity is excellent.
But there's also a Dragonfire.
You know, he's considering that Dragonfire, that early game's removal and just like exile stuff is very good in Logan's deck right now. So it's a tough pickup. He's not going to play the Curiosity if he picks it up at this point, probably. That Scorching Dragonfire is very tempting. It's hard to pass that blue card.
So yeah, the discipline from Vincent on the right-hand side to pass that in the first place.
You know, Vincent's also very good at reading signals.
Yeah, of course. So now he's sort of pushed the decision off to Logan whether or not to hate pick.
Exactly. So I bet that Vincent has figured out that Logan is unlikely to be in blue at this point. So he said, I'm just going to pass it.
I love this, that it's Enduring Curiosity. One of the best rares in the set is slipping to at least third pick. Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I don't know what anyone else is doing. What Ben is maybe doing. Ooh, Coordinated Calabrium, all right.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, there's a Bookworm too.
The Bookworm and Pat.
Do you pivot? Do you pivot here?
I think he's got too much good red to pivot.
Yeah, no. I don't think the Bookworm is actually doing that much in this deck.
That's the thing, is he's not actually manifesting Dragon. The Bookworm is value even
It's fine on its own, for sure. But
you
it's
definitely
not
want to be manifesting just a little bit.
This is some very disciplined drafting from Logan here. I think he's just saying, I'm taking cards that are good in my deck. If you happen to be able to use, and a Fear of Isolation. Oh my gosh. The blue is just flowing
nonstop, both directions. It's looking.
This is incredible.
Yeah, that is wild, and it's so interesting because I feel like blue is one of the better colors in this format. Like,
I certainly enjoy playing it.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
For Logan here, I kind of like the Vicious Clown. I don't have to grab the prize honestly, but I kind of just want more early-ish creatures, mid creatures. The clown is not the best. It may end up getting a cut, but. I think that's probably what I would still take. That Winter is such a
Winter is certainly not worth a splash, so we're going to send that along.
It's a fun card to try and make work if you're in,
Was that another Glassworks? Nice.
Second Glassworks is a great pickup here. Pretty easy, I would say. A couple of good cards in black here. Miasma Demon's good.
I feel like those are the first actually decent black. Even it's not even amazing. Right?
Yeah.
It's solid.
Yeah. I take that card and then I cut it a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, black has not been huge open in this pack, so it may have been in earlier picks, but it doesn't look like that's the sort of thing that you would really be doing here now. Pretty dead take for him here. Oh, actually, Horde Vigors. Pretty solid here.
That's fine. I wonder if you're interested in a Vengeful Possession at all. It can be kind of a nice way to steal games.
It does close out games.
In a Gruul aggressive deck.
I like that it filters also, right? Gives you that discard draw, which is very nice in an emergency.
Helps you get Delirium as well in a couple ways.
But obviously it's much better if you have some way to actually, sacrifice this creature. I would probably take the Horde Vigor here. He's got a couple of big creatures. He probably likes a little bit of protection. Horde Vigor costing a little bit more than I would want for a trick like that, but still quite nice.
Is it 2 or 3?
It's just 2.
Okay. But still, it would be nice for it to cost 0.
Yeah, exactly. 1, I'm saying.
The Inferno did indeed wheel.
Did indeed wheel.
I think we're pretty happy about that.
I think we're pretty happy with the Inferno pickup. I also don't hate just taking that found footage, but the Inferno is probably just the better pickup here.
Yeah.
His deck doesn't care a ton about Delirium currently, but I don't think that his deck has a problem getting to a Delirium, so that's very nice.
So we do see, a late Midnight Mayhem
Gosh,
here.
the blue is absolutely crazy. Twisted Reality and Unwilling Vessel still in this pack.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Unwilling Vessel is a really nice blue uncommon that nobody seems to be interested in.
notably
interesting.
not that good against Logan's deck with the 2 double Scorching
Dragonfires,
Dragonfires. You build up your big Unwilling Vessel and it just gets Dragonfired for the exile, but good in most other pairings here.
So, in say Arena Best of One, a Midnight Mayhem this late would be just kind of a war crime.
Yeah.
I do think I'm not very surprised to see it this late
No, I'm not
in a
either.
pod like this. Oh wait,
Another Unwilling Vessel and another Twist Reality. That is interesting.
no, that's not a vessel. That's the Paranormal Analyst.
Oh, that's Paranormal Analyst. Wow.
Which is also very good.
Yeah, also very good.
Who would want some pizza? Forget it. Couple commentators? Anyone?
I think I'm all right. Thank you. Very interesting sort of position. Yeah, blue is very open. Whoever is reading those blue signals is probably going to get a huge payoff here.
So the question really is that Ben directly to the left on the possessed goats, or is that Logan's father, Robin, to the left of Ben?
I would say based on the blue that Logan is getting, it's probably Ben here. I don't know what his second color is though. White hasn't felt particularly open, so I would guess that Vincent, at least in this pack, is the white.
Maybe white black?
Yeah, maybe white black.
Since we haven't been seeing
We
white
haven't
black.
seen almost any white or black
There was a Rite of the Moths in the first
in the
pack,
first pack.
so maybe something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that blue so open, and Logan passed in order, right? The Enduring Curiosity into a Bookworm straight to Ben. So if he was
Into Fear of Isolation.
Into Fear of Isolation. So if he did read those signals and was anywhere near blue, I think Ben is probably in a blue.
That's going to be a scary
blue
one.
package. Very scary. Yeah.
Winding down here, I think Grab the Prize is.
I think other price is solid here. I
I'm not
might-
embarrassed to play it.
I might just take the meat locker here, honestly.
Ooh,
Not to
yeah.
play it, but just so that other people don't have as much value going forward, right?
Sure.
That grab the prize it's good, but he has enough of the top end that he's not going to really need to reload his hand, probably.
I think the burn on the Grab the Prize
that's true.
is actually.
That's fair.
It's certainly ended a couple games
Yeah.
that I've played.
And it only
on
burns if you
both
have
sides.
delirium, right? Oh no, it's burns
No,
if you discard
a non-land,
That's right.
which is if you're going to kill them, then that's
course.
pretty obvious. Pretty obvious choice.
Yeah. Yeah, don't hit the grab the prize either. It does set up his delirium for his Infernos there. I think
Maybe
maybe
a
could
bear
easily
trap.
just take the carnival. We did see that the gremlins going around, and we don't want anyone to have an easy shot at splashing that.
I think I like the bear trap pick. I think in Gruul especially, Gruul Delirium, because now that we have the
Sure, it
the
does
Wicker
put an
Folk,
artifact in the graveyard.
the Wicker
that's true.
Folk and the two
Infernos.
Infernos, if I'm on the draw against a matchup where I want just another piece of removal or something,
Absolutely.
one that helps me get to Delirium at the same time, is it's pretty nice.
How much removal does Logan have in his deck currently? So,
2 Dragonfires, 2 Glassworks, 2 Infernos,
and the coordinated clobbering?
and a Clobbering.
Clobbering,
So he's definitely not short
Definitely
there.
not short on removal. He's going to be in a pretty good position. And double Horrid Vigor for protection for his creatures with that tie.
2 Vigors? Okay. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that he has a tie bar in his deck too.
Yeah, I mean, how could
It's
you
a nice
forget?
one. Looks like Vincent has just got a solid green base here
Yeah.
with a few black cards. Oh, he's got the Meat Hook
He
Massacre
does have
too.
Meat Hook Massacre 2 there. We'll see if it actually
Interesting.
makes it into the
Oh, and Damnation.
Damnation. Yeah, I was just mentioning that
Special
special guest Damnation seems very strong. Probably an open there. He's got the Head Shredder and Drag to the Roots as well for some of the power in loading his graveyard. Got Crypt Inspector. He's got the Zealot. So he's looking to do the Manifest Dread thing, I think, pretty conclusively, I'd say.
I'm turning my attention over to Roman's deck here, which seems pretty uncharacteristic for
Yeah.
Roman, I would say. He's playing a very heavy creature-based white proactive deck with a few black cards for value for the most part, with the Rite of the Moth and the Derelict Attic.
Generally more used to seeing Roman absolutely, like you said, in a blue package, in a blue-black, or in or like a 4-color with maybe 12 creatures, 11 creatures, and then a bunch of sort of like controlling elements, like value elements in his deck. So this is an interesting play for him.
Okay, I'm gonna go take a look at
I'm gonna go look
Ben's deck here. So he is almost mono blue, it looks like.
Which tracks based on what was going around.
2 Unable to Screams, 2 Twist Realities, 2 Unwilling Vessels,
Wow.
Enduring Curiosity, and Kaito.
Ooh, Kaito too. Wow, very strong.
2 Megalodons, Glimmerburst. I mean, this deck just looks so
The
fun.
deck looks
a Floodpit
very
Drowner,
strong.
Fear of Isolation,
Yeah.
Skullcat Nuisance.
Oh, very
Looks like
nice.
we've got some scouting reports on the Mana Cryps.
Yeah.
So Logan we saw, he's Gruul, obviously.
I grew with that
And
Tyvar.
then Julian is the Ramshackle player.
Oh, it does look like maybe Julian picked up that the signpost, the black-red
Disturbing
enchantment.
Mirth.
Yeah, the Disturbing Mirth. Thank you. And green-white Survivor with the Shredder. Ooh, so we got 2 Shredders
2 head
going around
Shredders,
around the table here.
And that's going to be Robin
Robin, yeah.
on
Very
green-white.
interesting.
The underplayed green-whites survivors. So we're going to let our teams finalize their builds here. In the meantime, we're just going to take a little bit of a break here
Sounds
for a
good.
couple minutes, and we'll be right back in just a little bit with round 1 of Team Draft LA Dusk Morning Season Finals.
See you soon.